If you spend any time on social media, you might already be familiar with tonight's big story. Over the last month, the hashtag #VeryAsian has blown up. A news anchor who actually used to work here in the Pacific Northwest started that hashtag, and that hashtag started a movement. The source of it all was a racist voicemail. Here's Christine Pitawanich.
You post things thinking it's just going to reach your circle of friends.
This is Michelle Lee. She's a television news anchor in St. Louis, Missouri, and recently anchored in Seattle. And as many of us do, she was just living her life.
You know, I'm like going to work, I'm taking care of my kids.
But that was before a 20-second long New Year's Day story that would change her life.
We were just doing a little bitty story about what Americans eat for New Year's Day. And it was like, greens for wealth, cornbread for coins, pork for prosperity. And I just added the line,
I ate dumpling soup. That's what a lot of Korean people do.
That was it, the moment that set everything in motion.
a woman called to complain that she was offended because if white anchors talked about what white people ate, they would be fired, and that I was being very Asian and I needed to keep my Korean to myself. So that message was really shocking to me.
That shock quickly turned into a heavy feeling.
It just started feeling like, gosh, like when am I going to not have to deal with racism? And will my son be raised in a racist environment? I just started feeling like very, very sad about the whole thing.
She posted the voicemail on social media. Lee never imagined what would happen next.
But then the next morning, it just started, like my phone just started, you know? And yeah, celebrities started tweeting it, politicians.
Now people all over are using it and calling #VeryAsian a movement and a source of pride.
So it became a sense of celebration for people, like they just flipped the hashtag and became this beautiful, beautiful moment.
And it's not just the Asian American Pacific Islander community.
There were people who, in solidarity, posted, you know, like my favorite hashtags were very Jewish and openly Black.
Lee and a friend at another station started a pop-up online. People ordered hats and shirts. The money went to the Asian American Journalists Association.
And what this has done for me in the last 30 days is allowed me to actually dream not only bigger for myself, but also I think for my family, for my son, and for my community.
Then Lee got a call to go on the Ellen DeGeneres show.
She gave me $15,000. I could have taken it as income because it was only addressed to me. I could have donated the money, or I could have used it as seed money to do something great.
She and her family decided on that last option. Lee is starting the #VeryAsian Foundation.
So our goal is to raise money for other organizations already doing great work to amplify diverse Asian American voices. This is really about all of us coming together and recognizing that we have our own special stories and we should embrace and celebrate them.
Okay, Christine Pitawanich joining us now. And Christine, I mean, you and I talked about this earlier. We've been talking about this for a while, frankly, and we're all here at KGW so proud of Michelle. We're so proud to call her a colleague, and it just seems like she is getting a ton of much deserved support.
Maggie, yeah, it's pretty amazing. She has overwhelmingly received so much positive support and feedback, but of course there are people out there who disagree with her. In fact, in my conversation with her today, she played me a voicemail from a Portland woman who said some pretty racist stuff, but of course that's the reality out there. But she's hoping that the #VeryAsian and everything that has come about from it will empower people, will offer a sense of pride and of course support.
Yeah, definitely. And hopefully after this airs, she gets a ton of support from the Portland area, because we know that that voicemail doesn't represent people in Portland. You know, speaking of support, and again, we've been talking about this, but like as a white woman myself, and for those of us who are not people of color, how should we support this movement, especially given that the hashtag is #VeryAsian and like there are shirts and memorabilia that say #VeryAsian on them?
No, yeah, that's a really good question. And a lot of people have asked the same thing. And Lee tells me that some Asian Americans would prefer that only Asian Americans would use the hashtag Very Asian. But Lee herself feels a bit differently because she was adopted. Her parents are white, her husband is white, her son is of mixed race. So her view is that if there's the right intention behind it, then it's fine. But of course, if a person out there is not comfortable using the hashtag Very Asian, wearing the shirts, hats, that kind of thing, there are so many ways to support the Asian American Pacific Islander community. Lee says just start thinking about ways to change your community, to make change. Of course, you could research good organizations that are making a difference and support that way.
All right, all good ideas. Well, we again applaud and thank Michelle and Christine. Thank you so much for facilitating the conversation and bringing this story to Portland because it's incredibly important. We appreciate it.